What's up, everybody? It's me, Crazy Frankie, and I'd like to welcome you to my Week 8 4 key game picks. Um, Quick thoughts from last week. Obviously, there was a bit of news last week in regards to some of the things that happened during the games. But, anyways, talking about last week, well, obviously the Broncos actually lost the game, and it was the game against the Colts. It was that emotional comeback game for Peyton Manning, going back to his old team's stadium. And I think the most interesting fact about that game is the way the Colts were able to handle the Broncos, even though the game was pretty tight in the end. I mean, the Colts only won by 5. I think if you think about it this way, I mean, I know there was a lot of controversy before this game started about the words of Jim Irsay, the owner, about how he felt, and I think a lot of people may have taken it out of context a little bit. But I mean, it's really tough to say if you're Peyton Manning. I mean, you've been with that team for close to 15 years, and you hear your former owner say something like that, saying that we only won one playoff game, we were out of the playoffs we were like a one and done team. I don't know. That it was kind of a weird feeling. I mean, but I do give the Indianapolis Colts fans, you guys did a great round of applause and giving him a lot of his due. I mean, he was your quarterback for a lot of years, and you guys were very classy there doing that and giving him that nice tribute there. The other game I wanted to get into was the Patriots-Jets game. Now, I know as shocking as it may be, I mean, I didn't even know about this rule. If anybody who watched that game, the rule was that it was an overtime. The game was tied 27-27. The Jets were going for a long field goal. They clearly missed it wide left, but then there was a penalty on the Patriots. It was regarding that a defender pushed another defender into the line of scrimmage. And there's a new rule that I didn't even know about this year. I mean, I'm an NFL guru, and I really didn't know about this, where you cannot push a defender to the line of scrimmage just to get ahead of the offensive line to try to make a block or something. I didn't know that was an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on that. That was totally news to me. Of course, that penalty gave the Jets new life, and they ended up winning on a last minute on a field goal to beat the Patriots in overtime. So that really was kind of was like, wow. I didn't even. It was like you're like literally scratching your head. I'm like, how did this happen? It is kind of a bullshit call or anything, but yeah, it was kind of a shocker the way the Patriots lost that game and the way the Jets ended up winning. But I really got to give the Jets a lot of credit. I mean, in the beginning of that game, it didn't look good at all. It looked like the Patriots had total command of the game, and it looked like they were going to win in a blowout. But the Jets hung in there. Geno Smith, after throwing a pick six in the first half of that game, he came back strong. And give the Jets defense a lot of credit. They came up with a pick six of their own on Tom Brady. So really, right now, the AFC East is getting. I don't really say it's much of an interesting thing now. I still think the Patriots still lead the division, and it's kind of a comfortable lead for them. But you never know. The Jets are starting to creep up. Don't know about the Dolphins. They're kind of an up and down team, and the Bills. I don't know where they stand right now at this point. But I think the bigger news was really the injuries that have happened last week. Sam Bradford tore his ACL. He's done for the year. Cruising linebacker for the Texans, he broke his leg, and by looks of it may have tore an LCL. I mean, he already had an ACL injury last year. I think it was last year or late 2011, something like that. But by looks of it, I mean, it's tough to say if he's going to be done for the year. I think by all means, I think he is going to be done for the year. I mean, that's going to be a hard thing to come back from after he just came back from an ACL injury. So I wish him all the best. And I know, who was that running back? It was the Green Bay running back. Was it Lucy? Was it Luce or something like that? Yeah, it was Luce. I mean, he had a neck injury during the Packers Browns game, and it was kind of unfortunate. It was kind of unfortunate for the Packers to lose a good running back. I mean, they're already piling up with injuries, even though they're still playing well. But it's really tough to say. And I know Mick Foles got hurt for the quarterback for the Eagles in their loss against the in their loss against Dallas last week. So it's really tough to say right now. I mean, over the brash of injuries right now, it's really turning a lot of teams' misfortunes into just bad luck. But anyways, that's all of week 7. Let's get into week 8. Now, before I get into my picks for this video, it's a very short week, so don't be surprised on my post that if it's very short paragraph or anything like that, because there's only 13 games this week, and it was kind of a struggle to what I would see maybe as a key games. So this is what I have as my 4 key games this week. First game is the Jets at the Bengals. Now, the Jets coming off a huge win against the Patriots last week. They're hoping to look for some momentum in this game. And the Bengals coming off a big win last week against the Lions on a last-second field goal. You could pretty much say this game probably is a toss-up. But if I look at it from a standpoint, the way the Bengals are playing right now, I think they're just a tad better in this game. I mean, offensively, they're I think a tad better than the Jets. I mean, the Jets, remember, it's hard to say what Geno Smith can do. I mean, he's having, like I said, to me, he's a roller coaster. You never know. It's up and down weeks a lot with him. So you never know. You never know going into this game. But do I expect it to be a close game? More than likely. This game will be close. The game is in Cincinnati, and I'm not going to go against the Bengals here. I like the Bengals here in a very close game. I'm going to go with the Bengals over the Jets. Key game number 2 is the Cowboys at the Lions. And the reason why I say this is a key game, because really Dallas, I mean, last week they only won 17-3 last week. It really wasn't all that impressive in their win against the Eagles. Well, the Eagles weren't playing that well anyways. I mean, they're another team that's being brash with injuries. The Lions, this is going to be a tough game for them. The Lions offense, I mean, they did very well against the Bengals, putting up I think it was 27 points. Yeah, 27 points. Or no, 24 points actually. For Dallas, I mean, you kind of see a little bit of some struggling there. I mean, they got some injuries of their own. They got some injuries right now. They don't have Ware, and Ryan is kind of an issue right now. So it's really tough to say right now what kind of Cowboys team we're going to expect in this game. But I think I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to make this game as my upset pick. I think, to me, the injuries are catching up with the Cowboys. And if the Lions can play turnover-free football in this one, I think I like the Lions in this game. I think I'm going to go with I'm going to pick the Lions over the Cowboys here. Only because I think the injuries are kind of an issue for the Cowboys at the moment right now. And the way the Lions are playing right now, I mean, it's tough to say with them, but if they could just play turnover-free football and just be flawless, they can get the running game going. And Calvin Johnson now is back. And I actually like the Lions in this game. I'm going to go out on a limb here for an upset here. I'm going to say the Lions beat the Cowboys in this one. Key game number 3 is the Redskins at the Broncos. Now the Broncos, coming off a heartbreaking, a tough defeat in Indianapolis last week, are looking for some retribution here. And knowing the way the Redskins played last week, so this game more than likely is probably going to be a very close game too. But I don't know if I would say 100% certain on that, because really the Broncos offense right now, they're clicking a bit. Even though they, defensive-wise, they lost Champ Bailey again. He's questionable for this game. So defensive-wise, I mean, you could probably see maybe a little bit of a flaw going on here. But I think for this one here, I just don't think on the Redskins side, the Redskins defense, they gave up 41 points to the Bears last week, even though they won. I'm going to say the Broncos win this game here because I think the Redskins have too many issues on the defensive side. And I think Peyton Manning and the Denver offense, I think they're going to chew them up all game long. But it might be a close game, it might not be. But I just think the Broncos have too much of an edge in this game. So I'm going to say the Broncos over the Redskins. And key game number 4, I don't know if I would say this is much of a key game here, but it's the Giants and the Eagles. Now, the Eagles coming off a tough loss against the Cowboys, even though the game was really a low-scoring affair. And Nick Foles is questionable for this game. I think they're going to put Michael Vick in this game. I mean, Michael Vick didn't even play last week because he had an injury of his own. And the Giants finally getting their first win of the season against the Vikings last Monday night. You got to kind of say that maybe if the Giants can, like I said, they've played flawless football last week. I got to give him like right, Eli Manning, no turnovers finally. But it's tough to say in this game, but I like the Giants here. I think the Eagles, Coach Kelly, it's hard to say what he's doing with this team, and I don't know if the team is clicking to his offense. It's supposed to be fast-paced offense here, but if the Giants can play flawless football like they did last week against the Vikings, I like them in this game here. I think the Giants will pick up their second win of the season in this game. I think the Eagles right now, injury-wise at quarterback, Foles and Vick, you don't know what's going on with them right now. I'm gonna go out and say the Giants beat the Eagles here, even though I am an Eagles. I do follow the Eagles, and it's kind of hard for me to say that. I mean, the Eagles right now, they're not playing impressive football, even though they're still in the hunt for that NFC East division, which is terrible this year. So I'm gonna go. For this game though, I'm gonna go with the Giants over the Eagles. Well, anyways, that is my video. All of my Week 8 picks are up at crazyfrankie56.blogspot.com. Check it out, and I'll see you all next week. Take care.